my name is Anna and this is the first tutorial for SmC. Today we are installing SmC and I will also show you the different parts that it has and also the different technologies we need to make it work. This is the official Empathy platform documentation, docs.empathy.co, and here we can find all the information we need to use SmC, so I'm going to use this as my start point. On this documentation we can find the official definition of SmC and more information about what the package contains and the key sets capabilities and tools. So if you want to understand any feature, here is the official documentation, but I will also explain a little bit about them in this tutorial. So if we want to download the SmC package, we need to go to the bottom of this documentation, the first one, the overview, and try the Empathy platform self-managed components. Here we have the different steps that I will show you and also information about the architecture and everything. To get the package, we need to go to the download, deploy and enjoy SmC and click on this link here, and now we can go to the repository. We can just go here and download the zip. But if you have it installed in your computer, we can do it in a different way. We can just open a new terminal. If we go to application and utils, we will find here the terminal. And we have two options. We can just go here and copy what is in the official documentation. Or we can go here and click on this button and open this window to copy this URL and then write git clone and paste the URL. Instead of using terminal, we can also use Git UI or any Git tool you have. But I always prefer using the terminal because the terminal is always the same, it never changes, and the UI depends on how the UI is made. Next, we need to go to the folder where we download SmC. Okay, so I move SmC to my desktop so we can all see it. And then I'm going to open it, but I'm going to use Visual Studio Code to see it because it's a comfortable way of seeing the code and playing with it. You can use another one, you can use maybe IntelliJ, you can use just your Notes application, anything that is comfortable to you to see code and to see the different sources and packages that SmC has. The first thing to understand is that this will run using Docker. And Docker is a tool, is a technology that we can use to create different containers with all the technologies we need to run one application. It's like, do you know that moment where everything works on your computer, but you can't ship your computer to the client? Well, with Docker you can do that. You can just create the container with the configurations and technologies and everything you need to run an application and ship it to another machine, any machine that can execute Docker, and then it is as easy as clicking a play button and everything will be running. So here we are using Docker, so if you want to execute SmC, you need to download Docker. You need to download the base Docker technology that you can do from here, and then you need to download Docker Compose, because SmC has 4 parts. It has an Elasticsearch, it has a search API, it has a frontend, and it has a script. And we need these 3 elements to run in different containers because they have different configurations. And we also need them to communicate between them. When you run a container, it is isolated, it is like alone, and it won't communicate with anything that is not inside the container. If you want to communicate with the container and your machine in the command where you execute the container, you need to make a bridge between the container and your computer. But the thing is that we need those bridges to communicate between containers and also with our computer. So here we can try to understand this Docker Compose. Here we are creating like a network, like an isolated network. These 3 containers are going to be using to communicate. And then we have the Elasticsearch container. I'm going to explain a little bit about Elasticsearch in a moment. Here on Elasticsearch, we are selecting the image, we are selecting the base technology for Elasticsearch, the version 8.7.1 from the official Docker repository. We are giving the container a name, Elasticsearch, and we are using the empathy network I just showed you. These are some environment variables to be used inside the container. We need the cluster to be named Elasticsearch cluster, the name of the node, some security things and everything. This is the volume. I will explain about volumes in a moment. And this is the port. These are the bridges we are creating. Whatever is in port 9200 in our container will be in port 9200 in our computer. So we are creating that bridge, we are creating that connection. We could select another port, maybe port, 300, but we selected the same one so we don't have any confusion. We are also doing it with port 9300. Then we have the search service that will be downloaded from the official Empathico repository. Will be called search service, is in the same network, and we have these environment variables so we can connect with Elasticsearch, we can get the configurations that we decide for our plugin and everything. We also have some volumes here, and we are doing the bridge from port 8080 in the container to port 8080 in our computer. We also have the frontend container that will be downloaded from GitHub, has the native frontend, has the same network, and has only this environment variable. And we'll be doing a bridge from port 80 in our container to port 8081 in our computer. And last, we have an indexing job that is a little bit different because we're just executing a script. We just need this container to index some files into our Elasticsearch, and then it doesn't have any application, so we don't need it to be alive anymore and consuming resources. And as you can see, it depends on the Elasticsearch container we created. What are volumes? You know, when you have to use data, when you have to use some documents, sometimes you want to have those documents stored in your computer and not on the container, and just create this bridge to access to them. Maybe because you want to keep the control of that and you want to create backups of that documents, or maybe because you want to edit those documents in your computer and affect the container in real time. In this case, with Elasticsearch, we just wanted to have the information in our computers so you don't have to index everything anytime you need to execute SmC. So you will have your data inside this folder right here in a new folder that will be called Volumes Elasticsearch Data. In the search service, you will have those bridges on these documents right here because they are necessary for the plugins to work. And next, the script will use this folder here. Here is the full code for the script, and this is the information that the script will index. So we want those containers to just use the documents we have on our computer. As I said, we will be using Elasticsearch, and to use that, we need to explain a little bit about how Elasticsearch works. Elasticsearch is a technology that will store all the index we have into different collections and catalogs, and we will be able to perform search requests and play with those information that will be indexed in a certain format. So just to keep it simple, we'll have one collection with the information inside these folders. Inside these folders, we will find mapping JSON and data JSON. Elasticsearch needs to know the format of the different fields, information about the structure of the catalogs. An image, that will be a word, a start year, that will be a number, an integer number, description, that will be like a whole text, that will be more information than just one word. And then we also have these incredible fields that has a lot of information. These are a lot of configuration to process and understand the language and play with it. So you just need to know that this is like the structure of the Elasticsearch catalog. And here is just the movies information. We're going to see these catalogs in depth in a future tutorial. So Elasticsearch will store this information, and we have everything ready so we can start playing with it and searching our products. Last, here is the script that will just take this information and index it. Okay, so after all of this explanation, we are going to continue. So I just open a new terminal. We need to write docker login. It will ask us for a username, SmC empathy, and then it will ask us for a password. As you can see on the official documentation, you need access permission to download the search API that we are providing. So you just need to contact first-line support, and they will give you a token that you need to use as a password right here. And after that, you will have access to everything. Now we need to see that we are on this folder and that we see this Docker compose file, because after doing that, we need to execute Docker compose app. And if you don't want to have a lot of text in your terminal and you don't want to see everything that is happening, just write this at the end of the command and enter. As you can see, it will be executing just 4 containers. This is SmC with the different containers inside. We just need to wait until everything is created and we will have SmC installed. Here is frontend in green. If this is the first time you execute SmC, you will have a lot of information telling you that some technologies are being downloaded. The first time you execute any container, you need to install the dependencies. But after you execute it the first time, everything will be in your memory. So you don't need to just download everything every time because you already have it in your computer. So you won't spend that much time trying to re-execute something that you already executed in the past. Okay, so as you can see, my indexing job local started indexing everything into Elasticsearch. It had to wait a little bit until the container was ready. And here we can see on volumes that something is appearing. And this is the information for Elasticsearch and the different nodes and everything that Elasticsearch needs to work. We need to wait until this container is stopped, because if we try to access everything while this is running, we won't be seeing a lot of movies because everything is being indexed in real time. Okay, so now my indexing job local has stopped working and the other containers are working as expected. So this means that we can go to our local host port 8081 and see the welcoming page of the interface X archetype. Let's see if everything is working as expected in SmC. If we click on the search bar, we can see that there are some movies indexed, some movies that are shorts, that are comedy, that are for family. And here we have some popular searches, which means that our Empathize catalog was correctly indexed. We have here some next queries, which means that the endpoint is working. We have the top click movies, which means that the catalog was also correctly indexed. And you probably won't have these history queries because I already played with SmC in port 8081, so this is in my local storage. And remember that you can go to my history and see everything with the information. And you can just go to your local storage in your browser and delete that. I'm going to show you how to do that. You go here in Chrome, in application, and here is everything and you can delete it. Or you can just delete it from here. So I'm going to show you Wonderland. And here I have a promotion, which means that the catalog was correctly indexed. And I can start playing with other query, maybe with Cinderella here. Here are some related tabs, which means that it's working. This is a banner. Here we have some filters, maybe some drama for Cinderella and a cheap movie. And these are the results. And here are some next queries also. And this was the tutorial to download SmC and execute it, to understand the architecture a little bit and to also understand the different technologies that it has. We will create more tutorials to play with the search configurations and also the index configurations. These are your components and you can play with them and you can create different search experiences and take this base we give you and create whatever you need, whatever search configuration you need, whatever search experience. Thank you so much, and if you have any doubt, just ask us. We will be really happy to answer you, and I'll see you next tutorial.